Coming up next, a little more advice from the Love Doctor. Faith it till you make it. It's our poster, our mug, our t-shirt for the month. Faith it till you make it. And that's only part of the cool things that we have. We've got, of course, our Headbangers Brew, our very own coffee that I'm drinking right now. That, and we have our Holy Cacao blend and a bunch of other things, and soon to be Crimson Brew tea. And that's coming up really soon. All of this, we're metalwearfamily.com. Dear Pastor Bob, thank you for your video about marriage and the 3 stages. I did that one yesterday. The romantic stage, then the realistic stage, then the secure stage. And we talked about the 3 stages that every relationship goes through. I wish I would have known that when I got married the first and second time. Yikes. I'm engaged now to be married for the 3rd time, and I'm definitely taking my time to get to know her. I'm living proof that you need to take your time to get to know the other person. Well, that's awesome, and I'm glad that you and so many others wrote to me after that one yesterday and say, I'm living proof. I went through this. I learned the hard way that what you're saying is true. And then the quote of the day. A good friend left this quote under the video yesterday, and it says, love is blind, but marriage is an eye-opener. And I love that. And it's true. Marriage is an eye-opener. Even when you are so prepared for it, and you're even in the secure stage, it's still an eye-opener. Absolutely. Well, let's go to some scripture today. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 8. And it says, above all, have fervent and unfailing love for one another. Now, this is talking about all of Christianity, all of the people that we meet. It's talking about our communication needs to be love first. Almost before we speak, our heart needs to engage. So above everything else, have fervent and unfailing love for each other. Because love covers a multitude of sins. Yes, it does. It overlooks unkindness and unselfishly seeks the best for others. Now, you can't do marriage unless you're willing to do that and ready to do that. And can I just say that it takes a lot more than puppy love to enter into this kind of commitment where you overlook unkindness, you overlook selfishness, and you seek the best for the other person instead of trying to get even and win an argument. That wipes out a lot of marriages. Unforgiveness is a big thing, big thing. I want to read this from the Message commentary. It says, everything in the world is about to be wrapped up, so take nothing for granted. Stay wide awake in prayer. Most of all, love each other as if your life depended on it. Love makes up for practically everything, and yes, it does. But I love it how it says this here. Most of all, love each other as if your life depended on it. And folks, I can't think of any better advice for relationships and specifically marriage. Love your wife, love your husband as if your life depended on it. Fervently, unconditionally, unselfishly. Because love makes up for practically everything. You know, you're always going to have discussions, disagreements, things that you don't necessarily see eye to eye on. You know that happens. And man, does it happen in marriage. And, I called my podcast yesterday, Marriage, Wedded Bliss and Blisters. It's both. It is bliss and it's blisters. It's that time when you feel like I couldn't be any more in love, and the time when you think, man, did I make a big mistake? You look at that person sitting across the breakfast table and you think, who is this person? I really don't know them very well. And everybody goes through that. Or when you say, I'm not so sure I can get through this. I don't like what's going on in this relationship right now. Every marriage goes through that. And, when you make statements like, we get along so well, we know each other so well, we never fight, it's always wonderful, you don't know them yet. Because there will always be some conflict. It's how we resolve things. Conflict resolution. When two people get married, you don't marry somebody exactly like you. At least I hope you don't. Because it's two very different people complementing each other, completing each other. And in a great marriage, the things you're not good at, the other person is, and vice versa. And you do this together. But if you're constantly fighting, and if you're constantly going through difficulties, then that's a difficult part of marriage. How do you resolve it? Love, love, love. You love them. You love them unconditionally. And as the message commentary says, you love them as if your life depended on it. And if you can get to that level of love for the other person, and you continue to have that kind of free-flowing love for them, anytime these major hurdles come up, you'll get through them. Why? Because love covers a multitude of sins. It overlooks unkindness. It overlooks all of the things that we're struggling with from time to time. And it unselfishly seeks the best for the other person. Well, folks, it's been good these last 2 days to talk a little bit about marriage and relationships in general, too. But don't forget, you are blessed. So go and be a blessing.